Hi everyone. Ria, shall we start?
Yes.
Okay. So we have Rahul with us, who will be, taking the session from ClearTax. So Rahul, we can start now.
Okay. Before we start, I would just like to take a poll among participants to understand if they all can see the screen and hear our voice. So, uh, a very warm good afternoon to everyone. I'm your host Ria, and today we have Rahul and Akanksha from ClearTax team. And Rahul would be taking you through today's presentation. He'll be explaining you all the recent updates regarding income tax, GST, ROC. So before we move ahead with this, I would like to understand if you all can see the screen and hear my voice. For that, I'm sending you a poll and I would request all the attendees to please address the poll visible on your screens. Requesting all the attendees to please address the poll. Dear attendees, the poll is about to get over in another 20 seconds. I would request everyone to please address the poll meanwhile. Thank you very much, everyone. As I can see, most of the attendees are not facing any issue. However, there are few people who are facing a little bit of issue with either viewing the screen or hearing my voice. I would request you to quickly log out and log in again. Probably that might help. But if the screen is visible now and my voice is audible, which means it's working perfectly fine. So I'll hand it over to Rahul from ClearTax, and he would be addressing today's presentation. And once this presentation is over, we will start with the question and answer round as well. So handing it over to Rahul.
Thank you, Ria. A very good afternoon to you all. My name is Rahul, and this webinar is presented to you by Flipkart, powered by ClearTax. Today, we are going to learn about recent updates in compliances under ROC, GST, and income tax. Just to brief about ClearTax, ClearTax is a financial technological platform which simplifies financial lives. So, today we cover the major topics about compliances under these major departments. Uh, just between the pandemic under COVID-19, okay, every government department has taken initiative to relax down the complications and the compliances on business houses, give the maximum possible solutions and reliefs under each compliances and each penalties and liabilities. So we are moving ahead with individual departments. Now, just to start with, I would like to just give a brief about the impact on businesses. Now, I believe every one of us which are having business houses, apart from the essential services, all of us are into a very bad time, and we are not having any businesses. But does this really mean that our obligations of the compliances are over? No, it is not. The obligations are still in due course, and we have to comply with all the acts and rules and regulations designed by the government. Okay, we will be dealing in we will be giving about brief about the compliances, filing of returns, relaxation given by ROC, and the applicable changes under GST and income taxes. So what about the updates which are coming from MCA, which is the ROC department? What are the applicable compliances? So as we all know, in the ROC, we have to file certain forms every year annually, and there are certain forms which are event based. Now, if we are talking about the forms which we have to file annually, these are your annual returns, balance sheets, directors KYC, and certain other forms which are event based, such as your increase in share capital, your MGT 14, which is for the resolution by the companies. And if we talk about other forms such as charges, or certain other form like appointment of auditors, so there are very various forms which we have to file under ROC for certain events. Okay. Under the LLP, there are some annual forms which are Form 8 and Form 11 for annual returns and the balance sheet of the LLP, and other forms such as Form 3, which we have to file for if we have anything to change in our deed, if we have to appoint or remove any of the partner, we have to file Form 4. So there are various kind of forms in LLP as well. Now, so here MCA has come up with a very big impact on the businesses, which they are giving an opportunity to all the business houses who are registered either as a company, may it be any type of company, which is a private company, or a one-person company, or a public company, or even NGO, Section 8 company, or if they are registered under LLP, then the MCA has given them a big opportunity to do all the compliances which they have not done as on 31st of March. Okay, so what do I mean by this? What I mean is, whatever compliances you are pending with, now say suppose you started your company in the year 2017. You were so involved in your businesses that you forgot to file any returns, or you were not aware of it. So the MCA might would have striked your company off. They would not have allowed you to do any other business. But now, in this time of pandemic, they have given you an opportunity to start afresh. So they have given a scheme which is called Companies Fresh Start Scheme. And also under LLP, they have given you an option of LLP settlement scheme. What does that mean? It means that have any compliances pending, like say suppose you have not filed your form annual returns, or any other uh, resolutions, directors KYC, you can file it now. So the MCA has waived off all the penalties, all the late fees, and all the additional fees. Now, if we are aware that if you would have been in the situation that we are going to file a form, and the due date was only 30 days within the within the event, so if we have filing the form after 30 days, we would have always paid a penalty or an additional fees of two times or four times, or as per the MCA rules. But now MCA is giving an opportunity to waive off all the penalties, all the additional forms. You do not have to pay anything. If you have not filed your director's KYC, there was a huge penalty of rupees 5,000 straight away. MCA again is giving this opportunity to file the director's KYC without the penalty of rupees 5,000, and any other penalty, any other additional fees which is applicable, everything is waived off. Now, if we are talking about the strict act, like the prosecution under certain sections. Now say suppose if we are not filing the annual return for 3 consecutive financial years, there will be a prosecution. Now this also has been given a relief. There will be no prosecution if you have not filed any forms for 3 consecutive financial year, which was earlier it was applicable, but now they have waived it out also. So just to summarize this, there's a scheme which has come, which is known as a fresh start scheme, where you can start your business afresh. Means anything which you have not complied with, you can just start afresh by filing all the forms. But there are certain exceptions as in, Now say suppose you wanted to infuse a capital of rupees 5 lakhs, but your authorized capital was only rupees 1 lakh, and you already invested rupees 4 lakh, say suppose the previous year, and you have not done any filing. Now, can I increase the authorized capital and file the form without the penalty? The answer is no, because this is a kind of undue advantage of the scheme. So if you are trying to file a form which is a particular event based, it will not be acceptable. Secondly, if we have taken any loan from any banks, so we are aware that we have to file certain charge forms like CH1, CHG2. So these forms also are event based. Only if you take loan, you are giving any asset or in collateral, you have to file the form. So in this case also, the penalty will not be waived off, the additional fees will not be waived off. To summarize, there is a fresh start scheme and the LLP settlement scheme, which is given this benefit of waiving of all the penalties without any prosecution or any notices from the department. But this scheme is only valid till 30th of September. So only if you file your forms on or before 30th of September, you will be you can avail the benefit of the CFS and the LLP scheme. If you are filing the forms beyond 30th of September for the previous years, all the applicable late fees, penalties, and prosecutions will be applicable. Now we are aware that we have to for the business entities who are incorporated on or before 31st of December 2017, they had to file a form called as INC 22A, which is the active tagging of the company. I have noticed certain companies are still doing their businesses by not filing that form on time. The penalty was rupees 10,000 for not filing the form on time. Now this also has been given a relaxation. You can file the form, but to make sure that if you file the form, you have to complete all the previous annual filings and all the previous applicable filings before completion of this form, and then you can file for the rest of the years. Again, for the new business entities who are incorporated on or after 2nd November 2018, these companies or these OPCs or these public or private companies are required to file a form called as INC 20A, which means the form for commencement of business. Now, if you are, as per the government rules, if you are not filing the form within 180 days, then your company will be liable to be struck off and the directors might be disqualified. There might be a penalty of rupees 1 lakh per director and rupees 50,000 for the company. Now, this also has been given a relaxation that if you are filing the form now, so an additional 180 days of time is given from the passing of the previous 180 days. Means like you have to file the form within 180 days. Now an additional 180 days means a total time of 360 days is given. So is it applicable for new companies which are getting incorporated now? No, it is not applicable. It is applicable only till the companies which are incorporated until 31st of March. So after that, whatever company are getting incorporated, they only have a time up to 180 days. So the previous companies who have not filed the form, they again have an additional benefit of 180 days. They can file the form and start their businesses. Moving
I just, okay, sorry. I thought the screen has frozen. Thank you so much.
Okay. So moving ahead to the GST updates. So in GST also, as per the government notification, recent government notifications, so there are many relaxations and many benefits given to the business houses for filing of their GST returns. They can postpone their GST return until a certain date. Now, starting with the filing of TCS credit, just to make you aware that whenever you are filing your GST 3B or GSTR 1, anything, please make sure that you file your TCS credit return before filing of the GSTR 3B, because until you file this form, your credit will not be available in the cash ledger. So filing of TCS credit is important before filing of your GSTR 3B. Now, there are certain due dates which have been given for filing of the GSTR form and GSTR 1. So I would just like to give you a brief about that. So for the business houses which have a turnover of more than 5 crores, so for the month of February, March and April, for the GSTR filing for the month of February, which is due in the month of March, for the month of March, which is due in the month of April, and so on. So for these 3 months, February, March and April, you have to file your return before 24th of June 2020. If you are filing for the month of May, you can file it by 27th of June 2020. So in these cases, only for the business houses who are having a turnover of more than 5 crore, there is no late fees or there is no penalty, but there is a component of interest. Now, if we talk about the interest, so how is it actually calculated? So the interest is calculated like if you are filing for the month of February and the due date has also been given until 24th of June for this month also, but the interest is not payable until 4th of April, which is already gone. So the interest will be applicable from 5th of April if you have not filed the form till this 24th of June. Okay, so interest will be applicable at the rate of 9%. Earlier the interest was 18%. Now the interest has come down to 9%. So interest is applicable for the houses which are more than 5 crore, means whose turnover is more than 5 crores. Okay. Moving on to the other business entities who are between 1.5 crore to 5 crore. For them, there is no interest, no penalty, no late fees. Okay. But interest will be applicable once they cross the due date, which is the new due date, which is the 30th and 29th of June. So for the month of February and March, the due date is 29th. For the month of April, the due date is 30th of June. For the month of May, it is extended to 12th of July. And for the entities who are below 1.5 crore of turnover, for them there is every month has a separate due date. For February it is 30th of June, March is 3rd of July, and April it is 6th of July. For May it is 14th of July. Now here we have to take a catch that for the business houses who are having more than 5 crore of turnover, so for them only late fine and penalty is being waived off, but interest is still applicable. So it is always advisable that you file your return in time if you have all the data in hand. If you keep on waiting for the due date to come and then if you file the return, you might be facing to pay some interest on that, and also the department website sometimes it goes very bad and you will not be able to log in or file on time because in the entire India is waiting for the lockdown to be over, and there will be huge pressure on the department's website. So as and when you have the data available, do not wait for the due dates, just file on time, and you can just keep some spare time in your hand, so that if you are not able to do that, so you have some time until the due date, but please try to do beforehand. Now moving ahead for the composition scheme. So those business houses who are wanting to opt for the composition scheme, they should not file GSTR 3B and GSTR 1 for the financial year 2020. So if you have filed if you're about to file for the month of April, do not file it, and otherwise you will not be able to opt for the composition scheme. So for the financial year 2021, you have to file CMP02, the form CMP02 by 30th of June. Okay, and the GST 03 you have to file like as on 31st of March, you have to file it by 31st of July. Now for the compliances of composition taxpayers, for the quarter ending March 2020, which means from January to March 2020, GSTR composition 8 CMP 08 form has to be filed by 7th of July. Okay, and the GSTR 4 for the previous financial year you have to file by 15th of July. And apart from that, if we move on to income tax updates, so income tax, I believe almost everyone would have filed for the financial year 18-19 their returns, but still those who are not able to file the returns, they are being given a relief. They can file the return by 30th of June. The previous due date was 31st of March, with the late fine of rupees 5,000 or 10,000 as applicable. In this case, when we are filing the due date, filing the return by the due date 30th of June, so is our penalty of that amount, rupees 5,000 or 10,000, getting waived off? No, it is not. Only the time has been extended. Now you can file the return until 30th of June, so that at least you will not be coming in that ambit of not filing the return and evading the taxes. Okay, so only the due date has been extended. Now, for example, if there was a tax liability of rupees 5 lakhs and my interest is keep on accumulating, so do I need to pay the interest also? Yes, you have to pay the interest, but but for these days the interest will be calculated at a lower rate. Earlier there was an interest of 1% per month. Now it will be 0.75% per month. Okay, moving on to the self-assessment tax and advance tax, which we are aware that we have to file every quarter. Like for the quarter of April, May, June, you have to file by of June, and so on. Okay, so we have to pay a interest of 0.75% if we are not paid the advance taxes or self-assessment tax on time. Okay, so which comes around to 9% per annum. Aadhaar and PAN linking has been going on since a very long time. Again, they have given an extension up to 30th of June. Why is it mandatory? If you are not linking your PAN and Aadhaar, your PAN may be blocked. So to just to not to give a department a chance to block your PAN card, it is advisable that you update your Aadhaar details with your PAN. If your Aadhaar details do not have your mobile number in it, so once the lockdown is over, please get your Aadhaar updated with your mobile number, and you can link your PAN with the Aadhaar. Now there are certain questions that whether this financial year 1920, whether the financial year is getting extended or not. Year never get extended. Okay, so the financial year starts from 1st of April to 31st of March. So the financial year has already ended on 31st of March 2020. That will not be extended. Why? The reason the people are asking this question is because there are certain individuals who have to claim a benefit of ATC or other sections, okay, as deductions. Now they have not got any chance to invest their money somewhere. They were waiting for the last for last few days when the financial year is about to get over, they will invest their money. So they have not got the chance, and unfortunately they will not be given any further chance. So if you are investing now for the previous financial year, it will not be counted in that financial year. Okay, so financial year has not been extended. If you are not able to claim your if you're not able to make investment, requisite amount of investment under ATC or 80DDB, 80D, anything, you will not be getting any benefit if you pay it now. So the financial years has not been extended. So these were the basic updates. I would just like to inform all the companies or all the persons who are a director or a shareholder in the company. Just make sure that your company and your LLP has made a filing of the form COVID-19. This form has come from the Department of Ministry of Corporate Affairs, MCA. You have to file the form. This form does not have any fees. You have to file the form online, and you have to give a declaration that your entity has taken steps to give your employees or give your organization a measure to control COVID-19 by not asking any employee to come into the office, or you have arranged for all the requisite measures for them. You are not deducting any salary from any employee. So as per the directive, have to, so it is just a one-pager form. They will be asking that whether you are complying the measures of COVID-19. You have to choose yes or no. One director whose KYC is active, means who is a compliant director, he will have to give his phone number. Okay, and then he will be receiving an OTP. You have to file the form. So please make sure that all the companies and all the LLPs are filing the form COVID-19. So I would just end the webinar here. So I will just like to mention that ClearTax gives such and such of services such as GST registrations and filing of returns, company incorporation, compliances. And if you have any query, you can please be in contact with us. Thanking you for this. Ria, if you have questions, we can just please host them.
Rahul, I believe people have started writing the questions in Q&A section. You can check.
Okay. Yeah. So Mr. Rajadurai has asked that my income is below 3 lakhs. What is the late filing fees for financial year 2018 and 19? Mr. Raja, I believe that if your income is below rupees 3 lakhs, and if you're not liable to pay any income taxes, then your liability may be rupees up to rupees 1000, but that final amount will be only available when you're about to file the form. Okay. So this will be available at that time. I believe if you have no taxable income, like if it is below rupees 3 lakhs and it is not taxable in any manner, then I think filing of return will also be not important for you. Mr. Bhavesh is asking whether 19 form is required to be filled for partnership firm. Mr. Bhavesh, if the partnership firm is not registered with MCA, like if it is not an LLP, then you need not to file the form. So it is only for the MCAs, the companies and LPs registered on Minister of Corporate Affairs.
So, dear attendees, do we have any more questions as we have our team here available to answer all the queries that you have? Okay, I can see some more questions have come up. I would like to mention that we would be sending the recording of this session on your registered email ID. So don't worry about that. If you have missed the initial part of the session today, you'll be receiving the recording on your registered email IDs.
So Mr. Varun is asking that can we get the pending GST amount from the government? So recently the government has come out with a notification that whatever amount is pending from income tax or the GST, they have initiated to clear off the or the TDS or TCS, whatever is applicable. They can claim it, but as of now we do not know how immediate will that be taken into effect. But still, yes, the government has started paying it off. Mr. Sharad is asking, what is this COVID-19 form? So, Mr. Sharad, as I explained that the COVID-19 form is for the companies and LLPs which are liable to declare to the MCA that uh, in this time of pandemic they are taking measures to control this pandemic, and they are not engaging in any meeting of people, or they're not holding any meetings. They're not asking any employee to come to the office until it is very necessary. For the essential for the companies who are into the essential services, they are exempted from this because they have their valid reasons, but still they have to take care that the virus is not going to spread by these entities, means they are not the medium in any whatsoever. So one person is asking how to claim TCS. What if we let it go? So the process to claim the TCS is you have to file the TCS form in your GST dashboard before filing of GSTR 3B. Okay, and if you let it go, you will not be able to claim it back. So it is as simple, like if there's a refund coming to you, and if you're not claiming it, then you'll not be able to get it. Simple. So Mr. Rajendra is asking whether the annual GST taxable value and ITR for filing should match or should not or not for the small businesses. So what I believe is the department are in sync with all your data and the income tax. So it is always advisable that your turnover amount matches in both ITR and the GST returns. Because if there is any mismatch, we have seen many cases getting notices from either of the department. Say suppose if your GST, you are declaring that you have X amount of turnover, and in the ITR you are declaring a lesser amount of turnover. The ITR department may give you notice that you are declaring less of income, so then you have to give a show cause. So it is always advisable to do so. Is there any Mr. Ishwar is asking, is there any change in GSTR 1 filing due dates? Yes, Mr. Ishwar, for the GSTR 1, the due date is 30th of June. Okay, so for all the GSTR 1s until this quarter, it is like 30th of June. Mr. Okay, so you were asking whether the GST return date have increased or not. Yes, for the month of March, it has increased, as we have already shown in the presentation. Okay, so it is for different type of businesses which are of having a more turnover. So there. So there are certain questions which are coming. I think all are almost similar. That whether Flipkart reporting our sales to the GST or income tax authority. So Flipkart will be reporting the amount of the amount of turnover which not the turnover, the amount of invoices which you are actually raising. They will be reporting that amount, because it is going hand in hand. It has to simultaneously be reported by both the buyer and the seller. So this is actually reported in the GST, but not in the income tax authorities. Miss Sunita is asking, I have started in month of October. So whatever to claim the input GST, can we claim it back, and by what time? So Miss Sunita, this has to be actually handled by the the local GST officer. You have to file the refund for form by him, and then he will be initiating the refund. So this is actually done on a local level. Mr. Anshuj is asking, like for job employees, they get Form 16 and it is easy for them to file ITR. Do ClearTax has any such facilities for GST returns or ITR returns for business persons? Now, see, the data which from the persons is is by them only. Now, say suppose if a person is getting a Form 16, okay, all the salary information is there with him. Now we will be taking that Form 16 from that salaried employee person, and we can file for him. But even it goes same for the business entities also, that whatever data they have with them, we can file. We actually help in filing for the GST returns for the business houses, but the data has to be given by them. Okay, in certain cases of e-commerce we can pull the data, but not in case of every business houses. Mr. Sheshadev is asking, below 1.5 crore, if we file 3B on 3rd of July, is there will there be any interest, or interest will be applicable? So as per this notification, the interest will be applicable for just a second, I'll tell you. So, like, I would like to understand which month of GST return you are talking about. If it is for the month of February, the interest will be applicable only after 25th of March. I mean, after the due date, which is 30th of June. for the month of February. For the month of March, it is 3rd of July. Yes, interest will be applicable. For the month of April, it is 6th of July, and after that, interest will be applicable. So it is in this staggered manner. So interests will be applicable after the due date which has been given, which is 30th of June, 3rd of July, and 6th of July. Mr. Ansuj is asking that software. So as we have told that we have a filing software, but still the data has to be given from your end. Okay, and if you have data, like if you have only data from Flipkart or the other e-commerce partners, then we can download the data from them, or you can help us downloading the information. Apart from that, if you have any other business where e-commerce and apart from e-commerce there's many of the vendors, then you have to give the data accordingly. That pulling off of data is not available as of now because it is a sensitive data, so it is not available. But we have a software for filing of GST returns. So Mr. Rajadura is asking that Flipkart is giving TCS and TDS invoices. I am accept the TCS of Flipkart and GST TDS. So the TDS is actually dealt with the income tax department. Okay, so whatever amount of TDS is getting deducted, you have to actually claim that from the income tax department. If you are not liable to pay any taxes, then that can come as a refund. So for the software, we can contact ClearTax. You can just log into ClearTax.in services, and then we can like our sales executive will be available to help you out with software. And we have the type with the Flipkart, so I think you can get it at a good discounted offer. So Murtaza is asking, sometimes there's a mismatch in reporting of sales. Flipkart sales shows us as 150, and however reporting was done as 145. How can this be solved? So you have to actually solve it individually. If you have a concern, you can raise it with Flipkart, or if you have an error, you can just do the reconciliation. That would be helpful.
I would like to mention, Murtaza, in case of any discrepancy, you can always raise a ticket with our seller support team and show the highlights that what is the amount difference that you can see and where is that difference visible to you. So that team will update you on that. In case if there's any discrepancy, we will resolve it for you.
So Shrija is asking, how can we claim TCS from Flipkart, which is deducted? So as I told you that in the GSTR dashboard, you will find the option of TCS received or receivable. That you can just file it there, and you will find that available in your cash ledger. So accordingly, you can claim it. So Ria, I think we have several questions about the discounted services by using the Flipkart. We can share a link to them. Is it possible?
Yes, sure. I'll share the link here. Just give me a moment.
Mr. Shishade was asking that if we have a turnover less than 2 crore, is it compulsory to file GST 9? No, it is optional. It is not compulsory. So for turnovers up to rupees 2 crore, it is optional. And for the others, it is mandatory.
I've shared the link with all the attendees on the chat box. I hope you all can see the link over there. So this is the ClearTax and Flipkart partnership link, wherein you can go ahead and check all the offers that we have. As a Flipkart seller, you can opt in for any of these offers, even for GST filing, or if you want to get a trademark certification of a SI license. So please check the link, requesting all the attendees.
And to all of you, like if you have any other specific queries, just contact us. And we have a team, we can assign and ask an expert to you. Or if you have any specific returns to be filed, or any returns to be claimed, we can help you out on that if it is available in that region. Okay, so we can always you are welcome to contact ClearTax.
Mr. Rajadurai, I hope you have received the link that I've sent you. So Rahul, have we covered all the questions?
Yes, I believe we have covered almost all the questions, and there are certain persons who are finding a bit difficult to download certain information or report. I think you can always, as like told by Ria, you can download the ticket. Raise a ticket with Flipkart and download the information. Or if you're facing anything, then you can always raise a ticket.
Yes. So, requesting all the attendees to please reach out to seller support team in case of any of your details are not completely available. As I mentioned earlier, please raise a ticket because currently, due to COVID situation, everyone is working from home. So we'll be taking up all the tickets that are coming up. So requesting all the attendees to please address your questions by raising a ticket. So I guess we have covered the entire topic today and no more questions are pending. So before wrapping up the session, I would like to take a small poll to understand how was today's webinar? Was it helpful to you? I'm sending you a poll and I would request everyone to please address the poll visible on your screen. Requesting all the attendees to please address the poll. Your feedback is very important to us, and this will help us understand that if these kinds of webinars are helpful to you, and if we can conduct these webinars in future as well. So I would request all the attendees to please address the poll and help us understand if you were able to understand whatever Rahul has explained today. Also, please mention in the Q&A box if you would like to, if you would like us to conduct these webinars again. Rahul, I guess 2 more questions have come up. Can you please address this? Rahul, I guess 2-3 more questions have come up. Can you please address these questions?
Yeah, hi. I think it got muted by somehow. So, yeah. So, Mr. Sakir is asking that in which report file we have to give to CA GST report to sale report. So, this is actually not very clear. If you're asking that what reports do you have to give to the CA to file the GST returns, is it so? If so, then like for the e-commerces, you have the consolidated report downloaded. You can share that with us, or like for the individual GST no invoices, you can just share those invoices, or if you have a report prepared in your system, you can share that. Shrija, thank you for your feedback. It really matters. Mr. Sheshdev, I need to check whether you can claim the future means I think the previous TCS you can claim it or not. I will just check and I'll let you know. So, Mr. Sheshadev, we can actually claim for the previous years as well. Okay. Since it started from October 2018, so from then we can claim it.
So Rahul, I guess we have covered everything. Mr. Sakir Hussain, I would request you to please reach out to seller support team regarding the report that you are asking here, exactly which report you need to submit to your CA. Please raise a ticket. Seller support team will reply you back on this query.
Ria, I think supposedly Mr. Sakir is asking for the sales report, so he has to give the sales report actually.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Sakir, please hand over your sales report to your CA then.
So I think almost all the questions are answered, and now we can conclude.
All right. So thank you very much, Rahul and Akanksha. I would really like to thank you both for joining us for this webinar and addressing all our attendees. So thanking you on all their behalf, and to everyone, thanks a lot for taking your time out and joining us for this webinar. And I hope all your questions were addressed. And as per the feedback, we will definitely consider doing these webinars in future as well. So thank you for your time and support. And I'm your host Ria, signing off for the day. I would request you to attend other webinars as well if you have any queries regarding any other topic. So thanking everyone, and we are concluding this session for here. Thank you. Have a great day ahead.
Thanks, Riya. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Rahul. Bye.
Thank you so much.